In this video, we're going to talk about closing a sale with someone who has inquired about your services. This is for folks who sell a high-ticket service such as coaching or agency services to an individual via a call. Let's go. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to look at how to close the sale to an individual on a call. We're going to cover the significant other card, why you should never chase or push for a sale, the yes but card, how you can overcome obstacles to the sale without using aggression or seeming desperate. We'll also look at how to ethically use scarcity and urgency. We'll look at why you should shut up after you've asked for the sale. And finally, we'll reveal the mindset trap that will sabotage your success. Okay, let's go. Now, let's say you have a coaching program or a professional service and you're on a call with the person who is going to pay for it. If they're not the sole decision maker, you will have established that up front through your qualification process, and you will have the other person, the spouse, business partner, whoever, on the call. Now, this is really important because one of the tricks a buyer will play on you to extract as much value out of you as they can without committing to a purchase is the significant other card. They will act all the way through the call as if they're making the decision exclusively, saying all the right things and letting you believe that they are fully up for working with you. Then, when you ask for the sale, they will say something like, "Thank you for all that great information, but I never make decisions without speaking to my wife." Or, "I have to involve my business partner, so leave it with me and I'll get back to you." Now, if you get to the end of the call and they pull this one out of the hat, it's a red flag that tells you have to fix your sales process. It's not their problem. After all, most humans will take and continue to take until someone stops them. Stopping people from treating you in the way you want to be treated is called setting boundaries. And this is the way respect is earned. So preventing this frustrating outcome can be done in one of two ways. The first way is by advanced filtering. In other words, you have a form. You send them a video or a message or whatever, confirming that the call will only take place if they show up on time with their full focus and attention and accompanied by anyone who makes a decision alongside them. Obviously, how you phrase this is important. But if you're sending a form, you could say, "Please confirm that you are the decision maker for your business and have the authority to act independently." Or you could say, "Please confirm whether anyone else makes business decisions with you, and if so, whether they will be present on the call." You could also ask them at the beginning of the call whether anyone else will need to evaluate the offer before they can commit, although really that's a little bit late, as by that time your diary and your time is committed. Time is money, and one of your primary roles as a business owner is to prevent people from wasting it. It really is important in sales to first understand the nature of the conversations that you will be having and which ones to focus on and which ones to let go of. Try not to chase too hard. Chasing decreases your perceived value and can make you seem desperate. Of course, sometimes you do need to follow up, but really, if you have to do that multiple times, the game can be lost, especially if you're sending a ton of messages like, "Hi, any news?" or "Are you ready to get started now?" If you do decide to chase, make sure you do it by showing up with extra value, such as, "Hey, I've just written this new report and thought it would be interesting for you," or "I'm hosting a live event next week and thought you might like to come," or "I thought this article was really relevant to what we were talking about last week." Sometimes people just need to reach a higher level of trust and comfort with you before they commit. However, making that personal effort is exhausting, and especially if your price point is less than $5,000, you will start to feel resentful if you spend too much time doing it. And that's really where an email list and evergreen resources such as funnels, podcasting, or YouTube comes in. They do the heavy lifting of building that all-important know, like, and trust for you. There's only a few different potential responses that someone can give to your offer. They will either say, "Yes, I'm in, send me your invoice and payment link," in which case you say, "Fantastic, I'll send the invoice to you right away. Can't wait to get started. Once I receive notification of your payment, I'll send you the onboarding email, the welcome email, the thank you email, whatever you want to call it, where you can have access to all the good stuff." Now, this one's pretty simple and it's what all of us want to hear. that the yes, I love it, let's buy response. And to be honest, that happens a lot. It really does. In a lot of instances, and providing you've created a favourable selling environment, in other words, given your prospect the opportunity to consume your value in advance of a call. It's that simple. The next level down is the yes, it sounds good, but. Now, that is the most common response that everyone gets. And what's important to understand here is that they're saying, yes, this offer sounds fantastic, but I have some hurdles that I need to overcome in order to be able to buy this thing from you. So your job then to close the sale is to understand what those hurdles are so that you can provide tools, resources, ideas or thoughts on how to overcome them. If, for example, they say, yes, it sounds great, but I don't think I have time for this right now, what's their hurdle? Their hurdle is time. Another word for this is an objection, right? And you may have heard that in your sales training. I like to think of them as hurdles though, because an objection makes it sound like they're trying to push away from you. But in fact, they're just telling you, I have an issue, I want this, but there's something that's standing in the way. So if you can help me overcome it, I'll buy this thing from you. So this is when you slip in alongside as a supporter, and rather than argue with them and try to convince them that they don't actually have that problem, which is a real sales success killer, you tell them how much you appreciate their thinking this through and how you fully understand this issue that they're having. In other words, you go into collaborative problem solving. Now, if they're trying to cut the call short at this point and just basically get rid of you, they're using their butts as an excuse not to buy. And people do this. And it's important not to personalize. Sometimes people want what you do and they like to think they can buy from you, but when a financial decision is staring them in the face, they start to panic and talk themselves out of it. They either don't have the money and are scared at having to expose themselves to debt, which they will rarely admit to you, or they just get scared at the thought of just going outside their comfort zone and taking action to solve their problem. They won't admit to that either, so they'll mostly just use the excuse of, it's not the right time, or I need to sign up a couple of new clients, then I'll be ready. It's important to remember that people prefer not to spend money on things that are intangible. So they'll spend money on a new sofa because they'll look at the sofa every day and they will sit on it and enjoy it, and there's no uncertainty around what they paid for. With coaching or professional services, it's different, and sometimes you have to challenge and remind them of what the consequences of inaction will be. So you go back to the reason why they booked a call with you, and you ask them where they will be if they don't take action. They will be stuck with the same problem and in the same pain, and you will say this with love. They have to feel safe rather than criticized, but they also need to know you're not buying into their irrational panic and fear. Because if you have a great offer and if they need it, they will be sabotaging their future success by not taking you up on your offer. You just need to keep focused on caring for them and for their long-term interests, and then they'll feel it. And often that reassurance and care will win them over. Now, I don't like to use the word aggression, but it's a word that is often used when talking about salesmanship. So let's use it now, but let's think of it differently than most people think of it. Your aggression or your sales aggressiveness, meaning how easily will you take someone's excuse as to not buying, or how forcefully are you going to push back? Are you just going to say, yes, okay, fine, that's a good reason not to buy, that's fine? Or are you going to say, look, I believe in what I'm doing. I truly believe it helps people just like you, and I want to help you too. Now, the way that you can tell, or at least one metric you can use to help guide you in how invested you get into helping people overcome hurdles, is your own sales and response volume. So if you set a goal for 10 sales and more than half of your calls end in yes but, then you might want to focus more on helping people overcome their issues to get to yes. If, however, your conversion rates are generally high and you get a few yes buts, you shouldn't really worry about it too much. You might respond and say, totally get it. Thank you for letting me know. I'll keep you posted with any future offers, because you don't need to bring out that aggression, right? A few more tips here. Number one, assume that they're buying. So if somebody responds to you with yes, but, that's not the same as a no. And there will always be a few people who will give you a firm no. Although if you've taken care of the selling environment, those people should be few and far between. So yes, but is really the only group of people that you have to think about or do anything with. They're really the only variables. Everyone else, the hell yeses and the firm no's, have already made up their mind. So one of the things that's really important when you are talking to those people who have some issues to overcome, well, this is a mindset thing for you too. And it goes like this. If someone is talking to you, they are interested. And that is important to remember. If they are coming up with a bunch of reasons why they can't buy, but they're still talking to you, don't take that as a sign of they're trying to convince me my offer isn't really worth it, or they're really not interested because look at all the reasons they're giving. That is not what's happening. What they're doing is they are saying, if you have answers to all of the reasons why I'm not going to buy, I will buy, but I'm struggling with some things that I still need to find answers to. So the right mindset for you to adopt is, as long as they're still talking to me, they are going to buy. And this means that you can stay in the conversation and in the moment and move them towards a sale. Now, what does that mean? It means, for example, let's say they come back to you with a really long and big sob story. You acknowledge their pain by saying something like, wow, that's really a big deal, which is why, and then you say something along the lines of, which is why I think you really need this thing, which is why we need to work together, right? Always remember, people are reaching out to you because they want your help. So if they're serious, they're going to open up and tell you their story. They're going to tell you what they're struggling with. So a good response to someone saying something like this is, you have just perfectly described the reason why you and I need to work together. We're going to create something amazing so that in the future, you have a really powerful and impactful offer that if you ever want to go and invest in something else, you can just sell it like that and you won't have these problems ever again. Obviously, you tailor this conversation to your niche and product, but this is something I might say, for example. So you take what their objection was and use it to show why what you have to offer is exactly what they need. Now, the key obviously is not to lie. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. That'll always get you into trouble. Be realistic, and in my opinion as well, stay in your lane, right? So, for example, I'm not going to say that a powerful and impactful offer will improve your marriage and drop your dress size and make you happy in other ways. Now, you can also add some scarcity to that, but it has to be real scarcity. Personally, I tell people, and this is certainly true for both my one-to-one coaching and done-for-you services, that I only have capacity to take on a certain number of clients at any given time, and that I am often close to that capacity. And I also warn them that I put up my prices regularly, which is also true, and that if they want to access my services at the price I've quoted them, they do have to act promptly because I cannot guarantee my price will be the same in future. And I also add some urgency in that I like to reward people if they don't waste my time. So if they say, I'd like to go away and think about it, I say, well, that's fine. But then I tell them about a couple of things that I won't go into here, as that's giving away all my secrets, to get them to make a faster decision. Some people, they'll get offended or whatever and accuse you of being manipulative and object to you using any scarcity or urgency-based techniques. In and of itself, this can weed out the serious people from the not so serious people, because if people react in an angry or offended way, it is quite disrespectful towards you. After all, you are just trying to do business in a win-win manner that protects your interests as well as theirs, and there is nothing wrong with that. It's the people who are just wasting your time or trying to hack your system or trying to get free coaching advice or anything like that who will mess you around by reacting like this. And the last tip here is to say as little as possible after you've made the offer. You've already given them what they need. They already know what the outcome is. Your job at this point is not to sell anymore or to hype things up further. It's to simply find out who's ready. There's always the temptation to over-explain, to oversell, giving them even more reasons to buy. This is a really simple process. The first couple of times you do this, it might seem weird. If you've never sold stuff online, you might be hesitant. You might be nervous about what people are going to say and try to fill in the awkward silences. Remember, they are coming to you. That's the big thing to remember. They are trying to figure out if working with you is going to solve their problem. They are the ones with the problem. You are the one with the solution. Silence doesn't mean you're rude or mean or disrespectful, but it does mean that you aren't there to beg, right? In that relationship, you are not the inferior one trying to prove yourself. They are the ones who jump through your filtering system to book that call. And so treat them like you would a simple conversation with a friend or an existing client. Be relaxed, let the conversation flow, and when it's your turn to listen, don't jump in with new things to say. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I wish you every success with your sales. Don't forget to like, rate and subscribe to our channel if you want more valuable information to grow your coaching, consulting or service-based business, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.